Hey everybody, welcome back to another review of Married at First Sight. It's your boy Big James. This is going to be season 13, episode 3. Is it 3? It's 3. The title of the episode is Their First Rodeo. This episode was, again, unnecessarily 2 hours. They could have condensed this down. It's a lot of dead space, and it just wasn't worth it. But you did find out information. They should have probably held some of this stuff back, because going off of what I saw, it seems like all 5 of these couples might not make it. They might have a season with no couples making it. But I think Bao and Johnny have a chance. I think Bao and Johnny have the best chance of making it. But they do have an issue that I think is going to be significant. We'll get to them when we get to them. Let's start out. We're going to go couple by couple, and then we'll wrap it all up at the end. We're going to start out with Brett and Ryan. Forgive me for my sexist ways and misogynist tendencies, but the first thing I wrote about Brett was titties. I don't know what's up with that wedding dress she had on, but my God. And matter of fact, all the ladies, well, no, Merla and Brett. Everyone else had cleavage showing, but Brett especially, she just had her titties out. Like if the wind blew, it was like, oh, there they go. I guess you put your best foot forward. She said, well, my best foot is this chest. So, and it looked like, another thing I put in was Hitler. Hitler looked like he was the damn minister presiding over the wedding. I'm like, why would you get somebody that looks like Adolf Hitler do your damn wedding? It was just ridiculous. Like if that's not a bad omen, I don't know what is. It curled in my eye. Ryan is standing there. He's nervous. He's giddy. He's doing everything. He's just short of hyperventilating. He's just really a ball of nerves. It's like he's ready to run away, honestly. And he doesn't really want to be there. And she comes out. He sees her and he notices, the chest, first thing first. And then she's redheaded, and he didn't really seem like he was cool with red hair, but, nah. And she seemed like she wasn't really that cool with him. Like, when they saw each other, it wasn't like that Zach and Michaela, like, oh, he's so fine, she's so good, beautiful. They was like, well, you ain't ugly. Maybe the personality makes up for that. But as far as drop dead gorgeous, neither one thought the other one was like drop dead gorgeous. Just like, she's not ugly. And she was like, he's not ugly. So that was kind of the impression I got from when they first saw each other. He saw them at chest, and she saw the beard. She really liked his beard. Yeah. They say their vows about a bunch of stuff. Everybody's vows are like pretty much the same. We don't know each other. We're gonna try my best. I'm gonna promise to love and support you. They all sound close to the same. So I never really get much attention because I don't know if they're pre-written or what, but their vows are very similar. Everybody's. He goes in and they kiss before the minister says, you may now kiss the bride. Because the minister, he just skipped that step. He forgot. So he had to go back and say, oh, I forgot a part. We're going to do it again. So they kiss again. They kissed twice. And it was without issues. It wasn't like Merlin and Gail. There was no issues. She just kissed him and he kissed her. And I think after what Ryan told her, Ryan, in his confession, he said that she wasn't physically what he wanted, but he wasn't disappointed. He wasn't upset about it. I think and later when he was talking to her friends, he was like, the red hair really threw him off. I think he's used to dating, I don't know who he's used to dating with, but even his friends told her, yeah, he's never dated anybody like you before. And I'm thinking, like, what was he dating before? Like, she's not overweight. She's not ugly. She's not skinny. It can't just be the hair. All I'm saying was like the hair, but I'm like, it's probably something more than that. but they just don't want to say it because it's probably something shallow. But it must have been his. I have no idea. I can't even piece it together. They keep saying the hair, but they act like it's more than the hair, but they don't want to say it. And I think her being half naked was also making him really uncomfortable. His friends, because they didn't want to like her chest was impossible not to see. But they were trying to talk to her and not stare at her chest. And then they were also trying to say things about her, but they didn't want to be like, damn, look at them titties. You know, it was just their interactions could have went better. But I think it was just everybody seemed like they were really awkward and nervous. I think it was weird. And I don't want to blame her for that. But something was going on where they wanted to tell her something, but they just chose not to, or they didn't know how to say it. It was his friends, his family, and him. Like they wanted to say something, but they didn't know how to say it, so they just opted to just shut the fuck up, which is usually a good option to go with. At the reception, they want to dance, and she's like, I don't know how to dance. And Ryan is like dumbfounded, like, what do you mean you don't know how to dance? He's like, you can't two-step? It's 2 steps. Do 2 steps. You're like, I don't know how to 2-step. It's 2 steps. I mean, like, if you try it, you can get it. And he was like, well, I'll show you. And she was like, well, I don't want you to show me. She didn't want shit. It's 2 steps. It's called a 2-step. Step here, step there. Step here, step there. It wasn't nothing complicated. He was just like, okay. And she was like, you know, I don't know how to dance. I don't know how to 2-steps. I don't know country music. I don't like ranching. I don't like going out in the field. I don't like doing any of that stuff because Ryan. It became clear that Ryan was a country guy and she was a city girl. She ain't like that. She was like, I don't know shit about the country. And his friend said, well, you know, she was like, well, what do you want to know? And she's like, what do you guys do out there on the ranch? Because I guess he has a ranch. And she was like, do you kill animals? And he was like, is that a problem? And she was like, for me, yeah, I don't want to hurt animals. He was like, well, that's going to be a problem. Because they be slaughtering animals out there on the ranch. And she asked him, you know, are you a glass half full or half empty guy? And I forgot what he said because it was stupid. After the wedding, they went back, and she was nervous because she was like, you know, I'm gonna take all this off. She's like, I got all this makeup on, I got all this stuff done. That's not how I naturally am. And you know, she's gonna cover her chest up because she doesn't normally have it. She was like, I don't normally dress like this. I don't normally look like this. This isn't my normal. So if he likes this, he's not gonna like me. But he really didn't like that. You know, like when she came out after she had took the makeup off, put her hair down, put some clothes on. He was more into her then. He was like, he even said like, this is way better. This is more I guess this is more what he's used to dating or something like that. Just like a simple person, not this big highfalutin thing you had going on. And he was in the bed with his shirt off. She was like, you got pants on under there? He was like, you want to get in and find out. They don't have a chance in hell. They really don't. I don't think he likes her, and I don't think she likes him. But I don't think they each have a reason to justify why they don't like each other. Well, she doesn't like his lifestyle. She likes how he looks. She doesn't like how he lives. Because he's like a small town country guy, and she's like a city girl, you know. And not only that, she doesn't want to learn anything about that. She doesn't want to learn country music. She's like, I don't really want to learn how to 2-step. I don't want to do that. She's like, I don't even know where to begin. Like the whole, even talking about it made her uncomfortable and feel out of place. And she is extremely concerned about how he feels about her. She has self-image problems because she was like, he thinks I'm ugly, he doesn't like me, like what? She really was down on herself. And that was a big thing. That's going to be a problem. And I don't think this is going to work at all. Our next couple is Rachel and Jose. Rachel says her last relationship was 6 months ago, which it's crazy to go from that to married, But I don't know, man. I really don't know because she said she was with a guy in there in quarantine, and they were together for 9 months, but he had been cheating for 6 months of that 9 months. So, but that was 6 months ago, and now she's getting. Man, this is just weird to me. And she said she lost a lot of self-esteem. She gained a lot of weight. I think she gained weight, and that made her start feeling bad about herself. But she lost the weight, and now she feels great, and she wants to, do some stuff. And Jose was weirding me out. He has self-image issues because he is very concerned about how he looks and how she thinks he looks. Like, he really wants her to like how he looks. Because he puts a lot of time, effort, and money into his body, into how his appearance and how he looks. And he wants her to talk about his looks all the time. And she wasn't doing that. I think he really, like, with his friends, his family, he was like, I want her to like what she sees. And they do the wedding and stuff. But she tells her friends that she's also concerned that he's not going to like how she looks. But she wasn't as honest as he was. And, they have the wedding. Then after the wedding, they're talking. And when he saw her come down the aisle, he was like, she's beautiful. And she was like, he's gorgeous. But after the wedding ceremony, they're talking, and they have a lot of stuff in common. They both like going to like football games. They like the same sports team. They both are, born and raised in Houston. They're both Spanish. They both have so much in common. But the thing is, though, she really likes his personality and how he is. And she says, I really love your personality. I really love things about you. Like, you're everything I asked for. I told him that I don't want somebody that's, he doesn't have to be good looking. And, you're just everything I wanted. And he was like, well, he took it how she said it. Like, I didn't want somebody good looking, and they brought me you. And he was hurt. He was devastated. Even though that's not what she meant. She wasn't like, you ugly. She was just like, she was saying that I wanted more emphasis on personality. And they got me somebody with a lot of personality, a lot of character. Not that you're, but she didn't put in that, not that you're unattractive, because you are. Because she's saying that in private. She's saying it in confessions to her friends and family. He's handsome. I really like how he looks. But when she's with him, she's saying, I like how you speak. I like how you talk. I like how these things about you. She likes the things within him, is what she tells him. To everybody else, he looks good. He wants to hear that I look good. So now his own self-doubt about his appearance with her is coming up. He's not smiling in the pictures. She said that, and it ruined his day. He didn't want to smile no more. He didn't want to dance. He didn't want to do nothing. Because he was like, my wife thinks I'm ugly. Which wasn't true. And they're talking to friends and family, and, it's nothing, they're like, oh, you're this and she's that. Some of this stuff is just stupid. And then he asked her about her living situation, like, where does she live at? And it freaked her out. She was like, oh, I live over here. He was like, when's your lease up? She was like, September? And he was like, he just stopped. He just paused, which was weird. And was like, oh, no, like, you're clearly thinking of something. He was like, oh, it's nothing. No, because you asked me that, and I answered, and then you just paused for a while. And then you feeling like, oh, it's nothing. It's like, no, it was something. I think he wants her to. He doesn't like where she lives at. And he wants her to move in with her. He could have just said that. People are tapping the glass for them to kiss. Which I didn't know. It might be something Hispanic or something where they tap the glass if they want to see the couple kiss. They did the same thing with Merla and Gil. But they didn't know what it meant. But Jose and Rachel knew what it meant. So I go through the checklist. She said, I had a checklist of what I wanted. Both of them had checklists of what they wanted. and they each meet what they wanted. So they don't have a chance in hell because Jose is not. He don't really like her, and I don't think she really likes him. I think she likes him, but I don't think she likes him like that. And I think he really doesn't. His vanity is going to be a problem and an issue that they're not going to work through because he wants complete control of everything, and she doesn't want to give up complete. She doesn't want to give up control. Since she's done that before, it didn't work out. So she's not going to do that, and he wants that. Plus, he wants to be showered with compliments and gifts, and she isn't going to do that. And she wants to be showered with compliments because of all the work she's done with herself, and he's not going to do that. Not because they're evil or vindictive, but just because they're not thinking like that. And that's something that they're missing each other on. That's what I think. They're just missing each other on subtle things. But I think they're at a point in their life where those subtle things are just going to be impossible to ignore. So I don't think they're going to work. They go back to the hotel room after the wedding. And, you know, she's getting undressed. He's getting undressed. And she is like, he left his bow tie on after changing. She was like, why? He was like, well, I want to do like a Chippendales thing and dance for you. Then he said, oh, I'm not going to do that. And I think that was the first time she saw him. It was the first time she saw him with his shirt off. And she was like, my husband is ripped. And Jose, he took his shirt off in front of the camera just doing this pose to get the abs and the chest in there. Like, come on, man. That was very theatrical now, Jose. You work out. We see it. You're ripped and shredded, all right? That was unnecessary. But he looks good. She looks good. She loves his body. She loves his personality, his attitude. But she's not telling him that. And that is just bugging him. That's going to set him on a path that he's not. It's going to put a thought in his mind that he's not going to be able to get away from. That's just what I'm seeing. Is that I believe this day, just this wedding, it's going to put a bug in his ear that he's going to listen to. The next one is the fucking disastrous Merla and Gil. Everything about them is bad. Like, there is nothing. The expert was smoking crack with this one. They was high as a kite with these two. They have nothing in common. They don't get along on any principle, any idea, nothing. She says that she thinks he looks good. He's like, oh, she looks beautiful. You know, she likes how he dresses. She likes how he dresses. Their style. They like all of that. She says, I feel comfortable. Now, this is what got me. She said, I feel comfortable around him. That's what she said in the confessional when she's doing the interview. Throughout the entire day, she says to him and expresses to his friends and family, she is not comfortable around him. You know, he asked her about her last name, about she gonna take his name. She's like, no, I have my dad's last name. That means a lot to me. I don't want to change it. And he was like, I want my wife to have my last name. And she's like, well, I want to keep my dad's last. So that's a issue right there. Fuck how they look. You're tapping the glass for them to kiss. He like, oh, let's kiss. They want us to kiss. She was like, no, I'll kiss you. She does not want to kiss this man. You know, she says, you know, I'm very conservative. And he is like, oh, he's taken back because she is not dressed conservatively at all. She's like, I have this body. I'm going to show it off. But my actions are going to be conservative. My appearance is going to be kind of liberal. That's her prerogative. She can do what she wants to. But I think to quote Dave Chappelle, just because you're dressed that way doesn't make you a whore. But you are wearing a whore's uniform. The way she dresses and talks, really, in the way, it's like she is giving two faces here. And I don't think either one of them disingenuous. I think this is really how she feels. But I think her brother described it best. She works hard. She works a lot of work. She does a lot of things. And the only way she can express how much money she makes and how much hard she works is through the things she buys, how she dresses. That's not necessarily how she feels or what she thinks. It's just her way of expressing what she does. So it's all true. It's her prerogative. She can do whatever she wants to. So. It doesn't really mean anything, honestly. It was just that it was confusing Gil, and pretty much everybody else there was like what? It was just confusing. But she, to her credit, she explained it very well. Like, no. And she told everybody that asked, I'm not kissing him. I don't want to. It's not going to happen. So if you're waiting and begging and pleading, you're wasting your breath. Her family talked to him, and he was like, the fashion thing is kind of a problem for her. And they was like, well, you're going to have a problem with her because that's just what she does. And then the thing was when she was talking to his friends and family, they knew off the bat this ain't gonna work. His dad was talking about, things are gonna change now. You're married, it's gonna be different. She was like, I'm not gonna change. I'm gonna keep doing what I've been doing. He was like, no, you just got married. So you're gonna have your lifestyle's gonna have to merge, and things are gonna be different. No, it's not. It's not gonna be different at all. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing because I'm working. And like, his parents were like, "Yeah, this shit ain't gonna work." They didn't say that, but they were like, well, this is not gonna happen. It was just obvious that it wasn't gonna happen because she is like, she wants a pet. She wants a pet. She wants something she can just bring out and show off, and that makes her look better. She wants something that makes her. She just like her clothes, her shoes, her hair, everything. She likes to look good. She wants someone that makes her look good. But she doesn't like animals. So Gil's the next best thing. Just a guy there to put on display to make her look good and make her look sensational or wealthy or whatever she's going for. And Gil is not going to be cool with that. He's already not. He was not cool with that at the wedding. He already expressed, I don't like that to her friends and family. That ain't my thing. His family was like, Gil is cheap. He works and he doesn't spend. He's like, I'm a firefighter. I don't make a lot of money. And honestly, it doesn't really play that much of a part into his life. He spends most of his time helping people. He works a lot. And that's what his priorities are. It's not on appearance and stuff like that. He said, I like to look good, but I'm not wearing Gucci and Prada and Louis Vuitton all the time. And her family was like, that's what she wears all the time. And I'm with Gil. Like, you can buy nice clothes, and they ain't got to be expensive. Hell, I'm expensive shit be ugly as hell. It's disastrous, really. They go home. She puts on the flannel pajama set. It's cute. It really is cute. I think that pajama set more suited how she talked than the wedding dress did. And she was like, we got this big gap between us. We're gonna keep it over there, man. Like, I'm not ready. And he told her friends that, he can wait. He's like, I can wait however long it takes for her to get comfortable with me. But she's saying in the interview, like, well, I am comfortable with him. But you're not. Everybody can see you're not. This is a waste of fucking time. Michaela and Zach. Listen, I know how adorable they look. I know how sweet they talk. That shit ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work at all, man. Not at all. They're talking when they're eating, and when's her last? He asked her when her last relationship. How long was her longest relationship? And she said it was 364 days. The guy dumped her the day before the 1 year anniversary, and that was in 2017. So it's been about. So he was like, oh, it's been about 3 years since you've been in a relationship. She was like, No. It's been other stuff in between that, but that was the longest. So both of them don't have a lot of long relationships. If her longest was almost a year, his longest was 9 months, they're pretty good right there. But I think hers are different than his based on how they talk. He said that, he grew up, he didn't have any confidence, and how he looked or anything like that in high school. He went to an all-white Catholic school. He was the only black kid there. And when he did meet other black kids, they talked about it because he had dark skin. He was like, he got it the worst from other black kids, how they went in on him by how he looked, by his skin texture, everything. And Michaela seemed like she was dumbfounded by that. Just like, that's the craziest shit she ever heard. But to him, it was just like, no, it was normal. And it sounded pretty normal to me, too. And because it was such a different experience, I guess, from hers, it's not how she grew up or anything like that. I think she was more popular. Everybody liked her. Everybody was sweet with her. And she was a daddy's girl. She always got what she wanted. She never ever had to struggle for a lot of stuff. Just how she talks and describes stuff. How her dad was always there to take care of her. And, she talks to Zach's parents. And Zach's father was like, I thought this whole thing was some bullshit. I really did. And he said, but, seeing how he looks at you, how you look at him, and just meeting you, I can see that this is a good thing. You guys are really loving each other, and this can go somewhere. This can't go anywhere. Because that's what Zach's parents saying to her. Michaela looking, but then they start talking about Zach. They say Zach is an all-in guy. He's either all in or he's all out. He's either dedicated or he just doesn't care. He's either with it or he's done with it. He's an overachiever. He works hard. He's always going from one thing to the next. And he's dedicated and loyal. And Michaela seemed like that was stuff she's not. It seemed like from how she looked, and not only was she not that, she wasn't really feeling that either. I think she is more go with the flow, and Zach's more like nose to the grindstone kind of guy. I also think that a lot of his hobbies are very kind of off the beaten path. Like they say, he designs apps when he gets bored, the crocheting and the knitting and the stuff like that, the IT, the computer design program. I think that's a lot of stuff she's not familiar with. And they say he does stuff like that when he's just bored. That's how he entertains himself. With these like high level nerdy geeky stuff. And it seemed like she wasn't really feeling that. But it's not a bad thing. But it's just not what she normally takes in a path. Michaela's sister, Zach talks to her sisters. And they're like, are you ready for this? Like, what do you do? And he's nervous. He can't really talk to them. He's stuttering and mumbling, like he's this kind of guy, like stuff like that. And it seemed like the sisters were very worried about this. Like they weren't really sure about this pairing. But it seemed like they were more worried about Zach. Like they were worried about him. And Michaela, because that's their sister, and they worried about her. They want to be protected and safe. They told him that. And he was like, yeah, but he was just like nervous. He said, he didn't have a lot of confidence. And you can listen to him talk that he doesn't really have a lot of confidence in himself. And he doesn't know what to say. He doesn't really have a good people skills. And, but they seemed like they were really worried that this was not going to work. They didn't have as much confidence in it as Zach's parents did. Probably because they're more familiar with her and they know what she can do to a guy like Zach. Because Zach seems like he is nothing she's ever dated before. Just going off body language and like the way things seem. It seems like she is just cranked up to another level and he is really, really reserved and down low. He can spike and meet you there. Like he can get up, like when they were doing the dancing, like, he was giving her a lap dance. She was like, he can go up, he can elevate and move. It seems like she is always up, one way or the other. She don't calm down. She she don't bring it in the pocket. You know, it's just always up. That's gonna be an issue because he seems like he's really reserved. Like he's more comfortable down low, and I think it has to do with him growing up. Like he says, like he was always bullied and picked on. You know, he had to rely on himself. He had no confidence. He thought he was ugly all until he thought he was ugly till he got into college. He didn't have relationships till he got into college. He never thought good of himself till he got into college. He was a grown man before he started having positive thoughts about himself. And he's 27, so that was like a few years ago. And I don't think that's the case with Michaela. And her sisters were like, you know, is it okay that she's older than him? And he was like, yeah, I think it's fine that she's older, you know, older and probably more mature. And that's his problem. He would date girls that were younger than him, but he was always more mature than them. I think he is still more mature than Michaela. If he's looking for someone more mature, that's more, I don't know, wifely or whatever the fuck he's looking for, I don't think it's Michaela. I think they're going to clash ugly and bad and often. And I know people, because I be seeing the Reddits and I be seeing the Facebooks and Instagrams and shit, or they even be in my comments or whatever saying that, you know, I'm not looking at them the right way. I'm like, dude, I'm like, just, I don't see it. I just don't see it. I know how adorable it is. I know how cute it is. But I'm like, this is going to be a big personality problem. It's going to be a big lifestyle clash. And I don't think either one of them is going to budge on it. She lives her way and he lives his way. And his way is a way that he just is like safety for him. And it's comfortable for him. His comfortable and her comfortable don't mix well. They can if someone's willing to be accepting and they're willing to change. I don't think either one of them are willing to change. Or I think he is more accepting of how she is than she is of how he is. Because the more he learns about her, the more he is like, that's interesting. He really likes that. But the more she learned about him, it seemed like she was kind of like, that's weird. Why is he like that? I don't think it's going to work. I really don't. I'm sorry. Our next couple is Bao and Johnny. Now, they were talking, and this is the only hiccup I see right now between Bao and Johnny, is that, you know, she said, Bao was like, she's a acts of service gift giver. That's what she likes. That's what she is. And Johnny was like, no, I'm physical touch. You know, he said, you know, he likes giving gifts, but he likes physical touch. That's just how he is with his family and stuff like that. And she was like, I'm glad you said that because I hate being touched. She's like, I hate physical touch. It makes me uncomfortable. I just don't do it. And it seemed like for Johnny, that was just devastating. That was the worst thing he could have ever heard. Because he's very emotional. He's very physical. You can tell that by just talking. He likes to touch. He likes to do things. He likes to be out. He's more active than she is. And he's got more energy than she does. You can tell that. And he asked her, you know, something about money. And she was like, you know, she splurges every now and then. She said, like, he asked her what the last big purchase she made. And she was like, you know, these shoes. And she told him whatever, I forgot the brand she told him those shoes were. But she said it's okay, she got them on consignment. Which I never heard of. What the hell is consignment? And he was like, what is that? What does that mean? Abused, from how she described it. Is that somebody else had them. They wore them prior to a wedding, just like this. And they brought them back. So they were less than what they would normally be because they were used. Just not heavily used, but like they wore them to a party and was like, here, you have them back. So he was like, that's fine. He was like, I never even heard of that, but that sounds cool. Like, I like that. And he really liked what she was saying. Like but I think the thing that bothered him was the fact that she doesn't like touch. She doesn't come from a close family. Oh, Back to Michaela. I'll get to them later. On Bao and Johnny, he's talking to her family, and they're like her. You can tell they related because they didn't want to talk. Johnny is so open and excited, and he just like, yo, hey, let's do this. Like, and her family was like her. They're like sitting back, like cringing, like, why is this guy got so much energy and all in my face talking to me? And he was like, one of the things that she said that I did that really kind of got to me was that she doesn't like physical touch. She was like, in my family, we touch all the time. We hug, we speak nice to each other. Like, I touch each other on the shoulder before I leave. Like, we always are interacting. We're very physical. And they were like, no, no. He's like, you guys never hug? He's like, do y'all hug each other? And they just stood there. Like, that was the stupidest shit anybody ever asked them. And we're like, no, we don't hug each other. That's not what we do. And Johnny was like, oh, shit. He knows, like, if she won't hug her brothers, she won't hug her parents. Like, if they don't hug each other, what the fuck chances he got? He was like, Christ, this is gonna be a struggle, and it seems like it was just a struggle for them. Like, she likes him because she told his family, like, I've always been attracted to him. Even in college, I really liked him, but I just never did anything. And he said I always liked her, but I just considered her somebody I worked with, not someone that I could date or anything like that, just a work friend. I'm a little stopped up shit. Excuse me. And they're so adorable though. They're so cute. Because even in their arguments, they still get along and they understand. I believe they're both so calculated. That's what makes it work. It's because everything is well thought out. But I think that's going to be a problem. It's because he wants a lot of intimacy and a lot of touch, and she doesn't want that. And I don't know how good that's going to work out. And it's not just because, it's him. It's just like, she's just like, that's not how I live. That's not how she lived with her family and her friends. They're like, there's no way she's going to let you touch. Like, it wasn't even like something sexual. Like, hands and stuff like that. Like, she was creeped out when he has to get the garter out. She was like freaking out because of that. So I don't know. That's gonna be a problem. And I think later after the wedding, they go back to the hotel room, and Johnny cannot get this goddamn dress off of Bao. It's like the damn bitch was sold to her. It was just like it was a lot of buttons. It was a lot of buttons. Small, tiny buttons. I could have never got it. I would just rip the damn thing. Because they were so small buttons too. And they were looped. They were looped buttons. So it was like a little bit of rope, a little bit of button, and he was just like having a hell of a time with this. And she thought it was funny, and he was like, his hand was cramping. It was just like, it went on for so long, him trying to get this dress off of her. And afterwards, they go to bed, and Johnny was like, he wants to cuddle. He said, when I'm alone, I have a body pillow that I cuddle up with. And he's thinking like, she was like, oh, you can cuddle with me. She was like, oh, here's a pillow right here. She's like, here's a pillow right here. Cuddle up that pillow right there. It's a barrier so you don't come anywhere near me. And he was like, thug, I wanted to cuddle with you. But he understands she doesn't like that, so that is fine. I'm looking at it like that's not a big deal right now, but further on down the line, it'll be an issue. But I think Johnny and Bao have the best chance, but I don't think they might not make it either. Because that's a pretty big issue. A lack of intimacy has ruined a lot of marriages and a lot of relationships. And that's it for them. Back to Michaela and Zach. When they get back to the hotel room, he's helping her get her dressed off, and she puts on a nice little pajama set, and he's in bed, and she comes out, and he was like, "Yo, I didn't see all of this," because I guess she got a nice body, and he was like, "I didn't see all of this in a dress." So she starts putting on a show for him, and he's like just complimenting her, telling her how beautiful she looks, and they get in the bed together. You can see how much they are each physically attracted to the other. All he talks about is how she looks, and she talks about how he looks. She told his parents, "You made a great looking ass child," and it weirded her out that he said, "I was an ugly kid, but I grew up good looking." But he still has that personality and that mindset of an ugly kid. So I'm sure they'll have probably like a wild, incredible sex, and they'll have just tragic ass interactions and stories. And on the preview of the upcoming season, it don't look all that good for Michaela and Zach. Somebody said that. I don't know who. Because it was obvious. It was like, if you look at how much energy she puts into being happy, when she swerves that to being pissed, it's going to be with just that much energy. And it's going to be bad. It's going to be ugly. It's like stab you with a goddamn butcher knife ugly. And it seems like she just goes off. And it always seems like, it could be editing, I'll give him that, where it seems like she is just in a rage, just pissed. And Zach is always calm, cool, and collected. Like, she is just flipping out, and he is just like, together, like, I don't know what the hell is going on with her. And she's like, I'm not tripping, you're tripping, you're the fucking crazy one. That is going to be the issue, is that she is extremely out there, just so much energy, and he doesn't have that much energy. He can match it if need be, but that's not his normal. I think all that energy is her normal. And I don't think Merlin and Gil, they're just politely dissing each other. So is Jose and Rachel. I think Brett and Ryan seem like theirs is the most hurtful. This is off the previews. Like, they really did like each other. But it's not going to work. And I think the same thing with Bao and Johnny. It seems like Bao really, really loves like Johnny. She really likes him. But she can't get past some stuff. And for Johnny, it's like, I can't get past it. Like, they're going to be really in love with each other, but they're not going to be able to get past something. And it's going to cause them to break up and get divorced. And I think Michaela is going to end up liking Zach far more than he likes her. I think she's going to love him, and he's going to be sick of her. That's a bold prediction. She's going to love him because he is a good person. He has all these good qualities and traits, but I don't think she recognizes those right away immediately as good qualities and traits. There's a lot of women would love a dude that's handsome and lame. He doesn't go out. He doesn't go out and party. He just stays home and works on computer programs and crochets and knits and cries at the notebook. Like, but I think for her, she's not used to that, and she doesn't really know what to do with that. So it's going to be an issue. But yeah, I'm like, I don't think it's a strong chance that they go 0-5 for couples this season. Because somebody like Merlin and Gil, there is no excuse for that. There is no excuse for that. That was just bad all around. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with them two. Like, they each have a list of what they don't want. And they got paired with exactly what they don't want. Like, they got the damn list mixed up, like what wants and don't. I don't know what the hell happened right there. I can't even think of what happened with them. Everything she doesn't want is what she got. And everything he doesn't want is what he got. And it's not superficial. It's not old petty. It's fucking For real. They are like, I really don't want this. And it's just like, they really don't want each other. The experts thought it was just nothing. No, it's something. They really don't want each other. They really don't want what she is. He don't want what she is, and she don't want what he is at all. How did they fuck that up? That's that bad. Oh my goodness. Christ. Man, that's just what I think. Let me know what you think. I like to hear what other people think. And if I'm missing something, tell me, because it might be that I'm dozing off, not paying attention, or I just missed the whole conversation or some shit. That can happen. That could absolutely happen. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and just hit me up, I see y'all later, man. Peace.